problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But
that
shit
fucking
down.
dude hits hard.
That Jake Paul can come 15-20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Joe Rogan slowly reacted to Anthony Joshua's fierce new training routine for the rumored Jake Paul showdown, and his reaction reveals everything. After seeing leaked clips of Joshua firing explosive combinations while grinding with elite coaches, Rogan labeled the former heavyweight king terrifying and warned that Jake Paul might have finally stepped into a storm he can't talk himself out of. With Joshua appearing sharper, quicker, and angrier than he's looked in years, Rogan believes this collision could finish brutally and suddenly if Jake dares even to walk toward the ring right now.
Need to get stronger.
The Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua showdown now unfolds as a fully approved professional heavyweight battle shaped by classic Queensberry rules. They're set to clash across 8 rounds, each running 3 minutes, while both men must step in wearing 10-ounce gloves. Importantly, Joshua has to hit no higher than 245 pounds, creating a firm boundary to keep this war balanced. A victory or defeat will land on each fighter's official record. This moment is the true reality.
This is going on people's records. AJ got to take him serious because this isn't some exhibition. We're running out some judges to act like there's a decision and someone won. No, someone's going to win, someone's going to lose here. It's 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds. Again, heavyweight pro bout, 10-ounce gloves. AJ talking about breaking internets over faces. I think he meant to say breaking his face on the internet. Who knows? Maybe you can do both in the big 2025. But then you have the weight limit, 245 pounds. And people are automatically going to go, oh, God, here's the thing. Oh, here's the thing in the contract. No, stop all that. And I'm going to go on a rant in a second for all the people that thought this was fake, for all the people that thought that Jake wouldn't do this, for all the people that thought he was scared. I'm going to go on that rant in a second. But, okay, yes, 245 is a weird number because Jake has already fought at heavyweight. He fought Mike Tyson at 220-something. But, again, I understand it a little bit. We're on short notice here. You don't want to have a Tyson Fury type situation, which AJ would never be 290 coming in here. But 260, 270, it starts to get out of the realm of possibility of, like, what are we doing here? Even though heavyweight has no limit, I get it.
Nisa Badarian, CEO of Most Valuable Promotions and Jake Paul's key promoter, told Sky Sports that the December 19th fight with Anthony Joshua feels like a massive global-level moment unfolding in real time. He emphasized that while Joshua may stand as the more seasoned boxer, Paul's almost delusional confidence could turn into the X factor, and Badarian framed the showdown as a symbolic collision of worlds, explaining how their team rushed to lock the fight in, squeezing plans and negotiations into an incredibly short window. He also confirmed strict weight limits and full professional conditions to guarantee a serious, high-stakes arena. Badarian told Sky Sports that this fight with Anthony Joshua is far less of a mismatch than Joshua's earlier clash with Francis Ngannou, arguing that although Ngannou was a giant, he lacked real boxing depth, making that battle far more lopsided. In contrast, Badarian believes Paul has evolved quickly inside the sport, gaining enough skill and ring maturity to make this Joshua encounter sharper, tighter, and far more competitive than anyone expects.
Will there be a limit for Joshua?
So there's a lot of discussion around the weight. Joshua fought Usyk twice. Both of those times, Usyk was 221 pounds. Joshua was 240 to 245. When Jake fought Mike Tyson last year, 227 pounds. I expect Jake will come in anywhere between 225 and 230, and Anthony Joshua has a weight limit of 245 pounds.
There will be those, as you're aware, that will look at it and criticise this fight. There already have been, haven't there? They'll say it's a real mismatch. What would you say to them? Are we going to be watching sport at its purest?
I would say it's much less of a mismatch than what you saw with AJ and Francis Ngannou, who a massive man, but relatively no boxing experience. I would say it's much less of a mismatch than AJ's 9th or 10th fight against guys who've been knocked out 20 to 25 times. Given AJ's pedigree, Jake is built for this. Jake is built for the big moments. So do I think it's dangerous for Jake Paul? Absolutely. Do I think it's also dangerous for Anthony Joshua? 100%.
According to many fight analysts, Jake Paul now faces a massive risk by stepping straight into the ring with Anthony Joshua. Former cruiserweight champion Lawrence Okolie has warned that Joshua's raw size and power turn the bout into a serious health threat for Paul. Meanwhile, former two-time world champion David Benavidez has bluntly claimed Paul is walking into a dangerous trap from Joshua's vast experience at the elite.
Give 100% respect to Jake Paul, but that's a dangerous fight for him. He probably gets knocked out, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not saying nothing bad. But Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua. You know, he's multiple-time champion, Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? The last time somebody stepped in the ring with him that didn't have that much boxing experience was Ngannou, and you've seen what happened to him. Yeah. But big respects to Jake Paul. It's going to be a good card. You know what I mean? It's a big fight. And it's a good fight, man. I give 100% respect to Jake Paul for even taking that.
Carl Froch now questions Anthony Joshua's choice to accept the Jake Paul fight, hinting that AJ might be quietly cashing out, and he's not entirely wrong to raise that doubt. Froch believes that Joshua, having already earned a fortune and lived championship glory, now appears more driven by money than any legacy at this stage. With his financial security set, Froch thinks Joshua has little left to chase in traditional boxing and is simply picking the easiest path toward a high-paying crossover showdown.
What else have we got to consider? Is AJ cashing out? Well, I did say a year ago when he got splattered by Daniel Dubois that he's finished now. He won't get that confidence back. He's not had any confidence, you know, in his head. No belief for a long time. And I don't think he can get back to world level. There's a couple of new young guns now coming up and coming through. It's like a changing of the guard. And when Usyk retires, I don't know what Daniel Dubois is going to do next, but what Daniel Dubois did to him, then he went on and lost to Usyk. But there's a few new heavyweights coming through, Moses Atalma, just to mention one. And you wouldn't start putting AJ in with any of these young up-and-comers that can punch hard, because I just don't think he's got the chance, because the ambition and the desire is going to be gone. So AJ most definitely is cashing out, and you can't fault him. Fair play to him. He's going to get a massive payday, maximise his exit route by fighting fake.
Some boxing fans now believe Jake Paul might actually beat Anthony Joshua, and they're placing everything on his power. Though often dismissed as a YouTuber-turned-boxer, Paul has shown real punching force in his fights, landing heavy shots that have dropped or even knocked out more than a few opponents. Tyson Fury, for one, recently predicted that Paul could stop AJ, pointing to his growing size and strength at heavyweight. Meanwhile, Paul himself keeps insisting that Joshua's chin is weak, claiming a clean, timed shot could finish everything early.
He can win? Jake Paul?
I think it's a possibility. No one is backing Jake Paul currently. You've seen him in the ring. You can see that he's got some knockout power. And I also believe people don't look at Joshua's last few fights. And I don't think it's going to be as big of a landslide as people feel. I feel like there's an overhand right that could easily land, and I wouldn't predict that Joshua's chin can last that. The problem is that all of the pressure's on Joshua at the moment. So Jake Paul, if he gets knocked out in 12 seconds, he should get knocked out. The problem is, as soon as Joshua starts taking damage, all of a sudden he's thinking, the world is watching me, I'm a professional fighter, and I'm getting beat off a YouTuber. All of the pressure is in Joshua, and that's a lot that can weigh on a man. You can't deny that Jake Paul has power. I think it's one of his only attributes. I think he's a very poor boxer, but what he does have is a weird technique where you don't know what
he's got power. How do we know he's got power?
He's knocked people out. Joshua has all of the world looking at him thinking you should walk him over. If it gets 2 rounds, 3 rounds inside, I think Joshua loses.
Many are now calling this a David versus Goliath kind of showdown. Jake Paul, who has built his rise through social media and lighter weight boxing, is stepping straight into the ring with Anthony Joshua, a towering heavyweight with championship history and a huge physical edge. Joshua's size, power, and pedigree cast him as Goliath, while Paul, the clear underdog, is relying on his heart, ambition, and raw courage to somehow balance the field.
Can't judge Anthony Joshua for getting the bag, as the kids say, for going to wherever the fight's going to take place and taking $92 million for going up against Jake Paul, right? You can't give him for that. You can't judge him for that. But don't try and tell me that this is a real professional boxing contest. I'm saying my guess is that this will be an exhibition matchup. And if it is, it'll be one hell of a show. And I'll certainly tune in. And fair play to both men because they're making an absolute goddamn killing. But what is going on? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. It's a lose-lose for Joshua. It's a win-win for Jake Paul.
One of the biggest worries about Joshua facing Jake Paul is that AJ has only fought twice in the past 2 years. After a split decision loss to Alexander Usyk in 2022, Joshua's activity has been sporadic. He defeated Robert Helenius in August 2023 and Otto Wallin in December 2023, before knocking out Francis Ngannou in March 2024.
For Anthony Joshua is his activity. He's only fought twice in 2 years. And one of them, he got knocked out off Daniel Dubois. That was his last fight. And a lot of people say you can only judge a fighter's quality from their last fight. And then the fight before that was a win, but it was a win against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, if you know, he was the UFC heavyweight who's not a real boxer. And he only had one fight before that boxing fight, what he lost as well. So that's his activity in boxing. Now, Jake Paul, on the other hand, looking at his box rec, he's had 6 fights since 2023. And one of them was against Mike Tyson. But we all seen what happened in that fight. Mike Tyson was well past his prime. Where Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, is, well, I'm not going to say he's coming into his prime because he had some great wins earlier on in his career before he lost to Usyk twice. And by the way, when he did lose to Usyk, the last one was a split decision. It was a pretty close fight. So now this fight is matched. And I just want to look at the tail of the tape. Now, looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else, what comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then, like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. Now, come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pounds versus 252 pounds. We got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had one, where AJ's had 43, but 43 of them are including at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Then the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost 1. AJ has had 28 fights, and he's lost 4 with 25 KOs.
David Haye has now issued a stark warning about the upcoming Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, calling it an obvious mismatch. Speaking to Sky News, the former heavyweight champion said Joshua could deal catastrophic damage to Paul and fears for Paul's safety in the ring. Haye even went as far as to suggest the fight could feel like Paul's last day on earth, painting a grim scene if he underestimates Joshua's sheer size, strength, and experience. The physical gap is enormous. Joshua stands 6'6" with an 82-inch reach, while Paul is around 6'1" with a 76-inch reach. Joshua usually weighs between 240 and 250 pounds, but for this fight, he's capped at 245 pounds. Paul, on the other hand, spent most of his career as a cruiserweight and has only bulked up to roughly 227 pounds for his past heavyweight bouts. This size and weight difference could give Joshua a serious edge in both power and reach.
Big money fight, £100 million potentially. Are you confident it'll happen?
I wasn't confident when I first heard about it. It sounds like one of those fairy tale fights that people talk about, but don't actually get over the line. I heard this 3-4 months ago. I just dismissed it. I heard it a week ago. I went along with it, but deep down I thought this isn't going to happen. And today it's been made official. Jake Paul is going to get in a ring in a boxing match, boxing gloves, to mix it with one of the most dangerous heavyweights on the planet, someone who is Olympic gold medalist, won the heavyweight championship twice, although he lost his last fight against a very good Daniel Dubois. He's a top 10 heavyweight on the planet versus internet sensation, someone who's a latecomer to boxing and has boxed at a very moderate level. I'm talking domestic level. And he lost to Tommy Fury, for instance. And Tommy Fury, who he lost to, versus Anthony Joshua, they're two completely different sports. So I commend Jake Paul for putting himself in harm's way, because boxing is a dangerous game. People have died in the ring. People have been seriously injured, maimed. And he believes in himself enough to do it on a massive scale, because it's not about the money. He's got enough money. This is him wanting to push the boundaries of reality. He's manifested an amazing life for himself. He's a superstar. And I think he wants to try and do the unthinkable. He wants to. It's an insane challenge he's put himself up for, but you've got to give him credit.
You say an insane challenge. You've described it before as Jake Paul being a cat versus Anthony Joshua's lion.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not equally matched on any sense, are they?
There's not one element of their boxing skill set that Jake Paul can come 15, 20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Anthony Joshua is taking a huge gamble by stepping into the ring with Jake Paul. And for many experts, it's not just about what could happen inside the ropes, but what it might do to his legacy. Former heavyweight Dave Allen warned that if Paul even lands a single punch, it could tarnish everything Joshua has built. Others argue this fight is purely a financial move. Eddie Hearn defended it bluntly, saying, "You can't eat legacy." The concern is growing that AJ could trade his respected reputation for a massive payday. And if things go wrong, he risks being remembered more for a cash grab than for his true boxing greatness.
Of boxing fans will think this is a massive stain on his career and a bit of an embarrassment. Now, you two have done it. I'm sure you would both fight Jake Paul tomorrow, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but we're both retired. And we'll be looking at it saying, still an easy fight because he can't box, he's useless. So it's risk-reward, minimum risk, massive reward. So of course we'd fight Jamie.
No, but you say that, it's a big risk, Carl. Big risk.
I'm not having that.
Big risk. If you don't go and annihilate him in the first 30 seconds...
Yeah, it's fixed.
Can you right, it's fixed. Oh, he's pulling him round?
Yeah.
He's talking about me fighting him, though. So would you think that was fixed if I didn't go and annihilate him? 11 years retired. I think that's the point George makes. He always has a little dig and says,
no, but say you go out there and it's a tough fight for you. You can say, well, what would you expect? I haven't boxed for 11 years. But then it's like, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard. Do you want that?
Nobody thinks any less.
You've got the best ending.
Yeah, I've got
to your career.
Definitely.
So,
nobody thinks any less of Mike Tyson because he lost to Jake Paul.
He was 58 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So
he's in hospital a week before.
Listen, I've been retired 11 years, and I'd still go in there, in my opinion, and whoop him. I don't think it'd be hard at all. So listen, he won't fight me. He's pretending he don't know who I am now, for a start. So he's thought.
How can he not know who you are?
Froch means business. How can he not know?
However, many boxing experts and fans are starting to believe that Anthony Joshua may be stepping into the ring as the best version of himself. Despite setbacks in his career, including 2 losses to Alexander Usyk, Joshua has shown remarkable resilience, returning stronger with every fight. Observers have noticed a new aura around him in recent months. He appears calmer, sharper, and more fiercely determined than ever before.
What it takes. But then sports is so psychological. Combat is so psychological. And I think the ups and downs of AJ's career have come because of the ups and downs of the psychology, you know? When AJ's on mentally, he's a different guy, man. I mean, I can remember early in his career just being this destroyer and just having this utter mean streak in there, and it would just come out of him when he would fight. You could just see it.
He had it.
Yeah, he had that it factor, and he was so popular. I mean, and then I remember being at the Ruiz fight at the Garden, and he gets hit with like this grazing shot, never recovers, and he's gone. And this is after I watched him knock out Klitschko at Wembley, getting up off the canvas in front of a crazy crowd. So I'm like, I'm leaving the Garden that night. I'm like, what happened to this guy? What you know?
In some ways, Anthony Joshua's choice to face Jake Paul is a high-stakes gamble, both for his body and his reputation. While the fight promises a massive payday, many insiders worry it could tarnish AJ's legacy if it goes wrong. Critics warn that Joshua risks turning what should be a celebrated veteran comeback into a circus spectacle. Yet this bout could also be the perfect reward he's earned after years of monumental fights. But at this stage of his career, taking such a risky crossover clash, one that could end in a shocking upset or serious injury, is far from a guaranteed win.
A lot of people have said, well, if he doesn't knock him out the way in which he knocked out Francis Ngannou, he's a sham, this is a sham, this is all rigged. A lot of people said if Jake wins, this is a sham, this is rigged. A lot of people said if he goes the distance with Jake, this is a sham, this is all rigged. Some people are saying even before it was finalized, Gareth on our show, although he folded quite quickly when he was face-to-face with Eddie at the open workouts. I saw that on IFL TV, I do believe, saying that his legacy is already in question as a result of taking this fight. Now, I'm surprised that people like Gareth say this. Look, this may not be your cup of tea. You can say, I want to see Anthony Joshua fight other heavyweights. I want to see him fight the likes of, I don't know, Joseph Parker. I want to see him fight Martin Bakole. I want to see him fight Caballel. I want to see him fight Zhilei Zhang.
What do you think? Is Joshua making a smart play by stepping in with Jake Paul for the payday? Or is he putting his legacy on the line in a massive way? Drop your thoughts below.